In this video, I will showcase the step-by-step funnel we have used and are still using to scale our outbound agency from 0 to 2 million per year. And I will start by doing a high-level overview of each stage of the funnel, and then I'll go deeper on the most essential growth levers we are leveraging. Before I give more details about what we do, I just want to give a small reminder about a typical marketing funnel and what it encompasses. It's typically segmented in 3 parts. You have the top of funnel, which essentially consists in bringing as much traffic as possible. This is where strategies such as paid ads, content, influencers, SEO, or even outbounds come in. Then you've got the middle of the funnel, which essentially consists in qualifying and nurturing these leads. Typically involves creating a high converting website, adding a video sales letter so that you can address objections. It involves lead magnets so that you can capture email addresses. And finally, you've got the bottom of funnel, which consists in turning these high intent leads into customers, aka closing them. This involves having some one-on-one conversations on Google Meet or on Zoom, or sometimes even in person. It's typically more the case of high ticket products where people want to buy, they prefer to talk with a salesperson or someone. So now that we've got that out of the way, let's jump into what CollecQ's growth funnel look like. As you can see in the schema here, you've got in the beginning traffic generation. So that is the top of funnel. We've got 4 main organic traffic sources. The most efficient ones for us are LinkedIn organic posts. We are posting a lot on LinkedIn and the whole team is posting some pieces. Typically this will be educational post that addresses the objections of our clients. What we have as well is cold outbound that typically involves sending some cold emails to prospects that seem to be in market for our services. The goal of cold outbound is usually to book meetings, but what you notice is that if you send a lot of emails, a lot of traffic or a lot of people will actually visit your website. Another way we generate qualified traffic through SEO involved is we are creating a lot of blog articles optimized for search engines, and through these articles people find us. And the latest one is paid ads. Our biggest paid ad channel is LinkedIn ads, and what we do on LinkedIn is we actually promote our best organic posts. When it comes to LinkedIn organic, there are a few things to note if you want to succeed. So one thing is consistency is what matters the most. You want to make it work on your first post. Before thinking about writing the best quality piece possible, you should try to be consistent with your posting. Quantity breeds quality. In the beginning, you don't know what a good post look like. You will know after 100 plus posts. So play the long game. One other thing and one specificity of LinkedIn is that it's a channel where commenting is extremely important. While you're just getting started, you won't have a lot of followers, which means that your post will not get exposed to a lot of people. The thing though is that some big creators have a huge following. Putting a nice, insightful comment under their post will probably get way more exposure to your profile than just you putting the exact same insights on your own profile. What you want to do is you want to do both commenting plus posting. So another thing is you want to take some time to create some visuals. This is something that you should outsource if you're not good at it. Just so you know, you could have the exact same post with a great visual, and the fact that you have a great visual attached to this post could go as far as multiplying the reach of your post by 3. Let me show you my post real quick. So as you can see here, this is my content performance. In the past 365 days, I had over 3,600,000 impressions. And here what I can do is I can actually filter by the post that got the most views. Typically, like pattern you'll see on my posts that get the most views is that there is always great visual attached to it. Here, for example, what you'll notice is that I provide value, but at the same time, there is like some of these schemas. People tend to love the schemas. This has 200,000 views, and I could have made the post without the schema, but it just makes it much more visual. So if you can, just try to have someone do this for you. Another kind of post that works pretty well is having these infographics. So in this case, once again, we are actually curating a lot of sales technologies, and we made this post that has all of them combined in one infographic. And once again, this post is pretty well because as you can see, we had 100,000 impressions just for this post. And then this is another schema. Once again, as you can see, it's just a post about building a sales tag from scratch. But caveat here is that instead of just mentioning tools to use, I added some models. This kind of stuff, whether it's infographic, schemas, carousel, if you can, just do them because they will increase your reach by a lot. So another important thing when it comes to LinkedIn content is to find some proven content ideas. Essentially what you want to do is you want to look at some creators that are making content in the same niche as you, and then you will look at their best performing posts, and you will not copy paste, but you will take some inspiration from their formats. So the way they open the post or they end the post. An example is we have this guy that's called Adam Robinson. Who, you look at his profile, you will notice that he has 100,000 followers. You could say that his content is pretty proven. What you can do is this extension that's called Clio will actually curate his these posts and rank them by the ones that have the most likes. So you can see all time posted 741 times, and his most liked post is a Twitter repost with 13,000 likes. So what I want to do is, because the algorithm is changing a lot, I'm actually gonna take all the posts he made just this year. And so now we've got a lot of these posts. You can see here he's talking about bootstrapping a company, the great size pipeline increases. So here the idea is that, once again, you don't want to copy paste what he's doing, but you want to gain some inspiration. Here, for example, it does seem that if you talk about how you bootstrap a company, this could make some great content. And so essentially in this case, what he's doing is mentioning some numbers in the hook. So that's something that you see big creators do a lot. 10 years, I've bootstrapped 0 to 1 million. And he's talking about his 6 biggest pieces of advice. So here what you could do, if you have some slightly different experience, is mention what you've done. For example, within the last 10 years, I haven't had the chance to bootstrap 2 companies to 0 to 1 million, but I've had a chance to bootstrap 1 company from 0 to 3 million. I could actually write something different, where for me, I would say in past 7 years, I've launched and I failed at 7 businesses. I've bootstrapped 1 agency from 0 to 3 million ARR, and here are the 5 biggest pieces of advice I'd give. I would give different advice because in his case, it's his experience and I don't want to be copy pasting his experience. I want to talk about my experience. That said, the format of the post seems to be working pretty well because this post got 2,000 views. So if you're able to share some good insights, then you can just reuse this. So I guess like this is his second most popular post this year. And once again, you can actually use the same logic. So in this case, I can read, you talk about how it's in crisis, and then you describe some of the reasons why it is actually in crisis. Another one I like a lot is this guy called Pierre Erubel. And the reason why I like him is because he has some great visuals. In this case, what you can do is you can once again use Clio to see his most liked post. I'm going to focus on the post that he made this year. And as you can see, he uses a lot of images. So 21 B2B marketing tactics with his nicely created graph. He's talking about the marketing game. Here, you shouldn't copy paste, but you should just think about how you can use the same idea for your niche. So for example, Pierre is a marketer. In our case, we have an outbound agency. So what I can do is, he's talking about 21 B2B marketing tactics for 2024. What I could do is like 21 B2B sales tactics for 2024. Could be creating a graph that kind of looks like this, and I would be just putting these tactics where they fit in the graph. Once again, this is a good example because I find this example to be self-explanatory and pretty easy to reuse. What he's doing is simplifying steps to make finding clients easier. For example, in our case, what we do is we teach how to run campaigns. I could say you don't need to run a campaign. You need to build a list of prospects, write some high converting messages, personalize your messages with AI, ensure that you've got a good deliverability. People tend to like this kind of post. And one thing I've noticed is that he actually reuses this framework pretty often. So one time at 2,000 likes, one other time at almost 5k likes, we would know that this is pretty good. Let's talk about outbound. Outbound is just sending an email to someone who seems to be in market for your services. The thing though is that the goal usually for outbound is to try to book meetings as fast as possible. Imagine this, you're selling marketing services and then there is some guy who says, I'm looking for someone to run my ads, and he posts that on LinkedIn. Because he's posting that, you know that the guy is currently in market for your services. If you were to send him a message, you would be sending him a message at the right time because he actually showcased some signs of being in market for your services. And so typically that's the way or framework you want to follow when it comes to cold emails. This is a lead generation mechanism that actually has the potential to generate traffic to the website. The third most effective channel we are using is LinkedIn ads. Another great way to generate traffic. And the reason why I like LinkedIn ads so much is because you can actually target the same way you target prospects and companies with cold outbound. For example, you could decide to target only CEOs of companies above 50 people, or you could only decide to target directors, VPs, or other decision makers in specific industries such as software development, telecommunication, construction, etc. These would be the only people who would get the ad. The difference with other platforms is that because LinkedIn is a professional platform, you don't get this kind of filtering criteria. Cool thing I find about LinkedIn ads is that you can boost your organic LinkedIn posts. So you can actually see LinkedIn organic content as some kind of experimentation playground for your LinkedIn ads. You could just be posting something different every day, and when you see that some message actually hits, you can decide to put some spend behind it and to expose that message to more people. Imagine you published a post. Let's say this post actually booked 2 or 3 meetings for you, and you notice that the people who booked a meeting with you all have the same job title. Let's say they are all VPs of sales in the marketing industry. Then what would happen if you were to actually expose this message to more people in the same industry? With LinkedIn, it's actually pretty easy to do because you just have to add that as a targeting criteria, and then you will have more of these people seeing the exact same post that already booked meetings for you. So this was it for traffic generation. What we want all of these people to do, whether they are seeing our LinkedIn posts, seeing our ads, seeing our content on social media, is we want them to land on a website. And when they do land on a website, we have several conversion mechanisms to maximize the number of meetings we book from this traffic. The first thing we have is a video sales letter. This is a 5 to 8 minute video that explains our services. One of the biggest reasons why prospects don't book meeting with you is that they don't understand your offering. A video that addresses the main objections you frequently hear in sales calls is one of the most effective ways to avoid that. The best case scenario though, whether prospects watch the VSL or not, is for those who are qualified to book a meeting with us. And for this to happen, you want to make it as easy as possible to get their information. But you don't want everyone to be able to book a meeting with your team, otherwise you will waste a lot of time. For this to happen, we have one field form on the website that's powered by a tool called Default, in which prospects can input their email addresses. And the reason why we use them is that they enrich your information in the backend. So what that means is that in a matter of seconds, I can know if the person that input their information is a CEO, a head of marketing, or a VP of sales, and I can also know how big their company is. The idea here is that we actually have some strict criteria. They are a qualified lead, we will automatically show them our calendar. If they are not, we will ask them to fill a form with additional questions so that we make sure that they have the budget for our services. In many cases, however, a lot of qualified prospects will visit your website, but they won't be ready to book a call with you. That doesn't mean that they will never be ready to buy from you. What it means though is that now is not the right time. So we want to make sure that we are in front of them when they do become ready to buy. And for this to happen, we actually implement some more mechanisms. First thing we do is we have some lead magnets on the websites, and the idea for these lead magnets is to grab email addresses. In our case, we wrote a guide that lays out how we use AI and sales technologies to generate 400 plus meetings per quarter. Once they do input their email addresses to get the guide, we nurture them through our newsletter, so they get entered into some sequences. We give them tips, and the whole idea is that at some point, their circumstances will change, and once they're ready to buy some outbound services, we will be top of mind for them. Some people won't even want to fill a form on your website. One thing we do to still be able to reach out to people who browse our website but who didn't fill a form is we use visitor identification technologies. So there are some tools such as Instantly and Airbnb that de-anonymize your website visitors. This only works in the US, but essentially if you go and visit my website and you don't input your email address, I can still know that you were on my page, because what Airbnb is going to do is going to send the information on my Slack, and then I'm going to be able to automatically route them into some outbound campaign. Here, for example, you can see this guy called Brian Champion, who's a senior director on a company called Airbnb, was on one of our page, and actually I can see which page he was on because Airbnb gives me the information of Brian being first identified visiting this CallIQ AI sales tools page. I actually have this information for a lot of other prospects. All of these people, what we could actually do is we could actually click on their LinkedIn profile and send them a message. Now, because we actually have a lot of traffic on the website, what we want to do is we want to automate reaching out to them. We go to this tool called Clay, and so here, what you can see on this table, for example, is all the pages that were visited, which tool we use to visit them. We've got the first name, the last name, their full name, and their company name. But we use some AI prompts to actually qualify these leads. What we do afterwards is we find some information about them, personalize our approach, and then we route them to our sales engagement platforms. So either Lemlist or Instantly. Lemlist if we want to do some multi-channel outreach, reaching out to them via phone, LinkedIn plus email, or Instantly if we want to do some high volume email campaigns. The last bit is the closing bit. The whole idea with these meetings is we will be talking with them for 30 minutes. The most important part is to be focusing on the prospect itself. So what we want to do is we don't want to be hard pitching our solution. We want to actually ask as many questions as possible so that we know for sure that we can help these prospects. Once that's done, we'll typically send them a proposal. A certain percentage of these people will accept our proposal and will close as clients for CallIQ. That's what we've used to grow from $0 to $3 million per year in 22 months. If you like what you saw, you should know that we had a coaching program that has 100 plus videos like this, 6 monthly live sessions where we go through these workflows live, and a private Discord community where you have access to me and my team. If you want to find out more about the coaching program, you can go at calliq.com/coaching and you'll find all the information you need. Ciao, ciao, guys.